Ivanov by Anton Chekhov. Characters: Nicholas Ivanov, perpetual member of the Council of Peasant Affairs. Anna, his wife, nee Sarah Abramson. Matthew Shabelsky, a count, uncle of Ivanov. Paul Lebediev, president of the board of the Mzemstvo. Zineda, his wife. Sasha, their daughter, 20 years old. Lvov, a young government doctor. Martha Babakina, a young widow, owner of an estate and daughter of a rich merchant. Kosich, an exciseman. Michael Borkin, a distant relative of Ivanov and manager of his estate. Avdotya Nazarovna, an old woman. George lives with the Lebedievs. First guest, second guest, third guest, fourth guest. Peter, a servant of Ivanov. Gabriel, a servant of Lebediev, and guests of both sexes. The play takes place in one of the provinces of central Russia. Act 1. The garden of Ivanov's country place. On the left is a terrace and a facade of a house. The window is open. Below the terrace is a broad semicircular lawn from which paths lead to the right and left into a garden. On the right are several garden benches and tables. A lamp is burning on one of the tables. It is evening. As the curtain rises, sounds of the piano and violoncello are heard. Ivanov is sitting at a table, reading. Borkin, in boots and carrying a gun, comes in from the rear of the garden, a little tipsy. He sees Ivanov. He comes towards him on tiptoe, and when he comes opposite him, he stops and points the gun at his face.
Oh, Misha, what are you doing? You scared me. Now stop with your stupid jokes. Oh, and then you laugh.
Oh, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. I won't. It's really hot. Just think I've covered 12 miles in the last 3 hours. I am worn out. Feel how my heart's beating.
I'll feel it later.
No, feel it now. You feel it thumping. That means it's weak and I might die any moment. Would you be sorry if I died?
I'm reading. I'll deal with you later.
Seriously, would you be sorry if I died, Nicholas? Would you be sorry if I died?
Will you leave me alone?
Come on, tell me if you'd be sorry or not.
I'm sorry you smell so of vodka, Misha. It's disgusting.
I smell like vodka. Strange. And yet not so strange, actually. I met the magistrate on the road, and I have to admit that we drank about 8 glasses together. Strictly speaking, of course, drinking is very harmful. Listen, it's harmful, isn't it? Is it?
Will you stop, Misha?
Well, excuse me. Sit here by yourself then, for heaven's sake, if it amuses you. You really can meet some extraordinary people in this world. People that won't even allow themselves to be spoken to. Oh, I nearly forgot. Can you lend me 82 rubles?
Why do you want 82 rubles?
To pay the workman tomorrow.
I don't have it.
Thanks. So you don't have the money, but yet the workmen have to be paid, right?
I don't know. Wait until I get my salary. It comes on the 1st of the month.
How is it even possible to discuss anything with someone like you? You understand the workmen are coming tomorrow morning and not on the 1st of the month, right?
What am I supposed to do? I can't do anything now. And what's with being an irritating pest whenever I'm trying to read or write?
Workmen have to be paid, right? I ask you. But good God, what is the use of talking to you? You think because you own an estate, you can command the whole world with your 2,000 acres and your empty pockets? You're like someone with a whole cellar full of wine and no corkscrew. I said, I sold the oats as they stand in the field. Yes, and tomorrow I sell the rye and the carriage horses. Do you think I'm going to tiptoe around with you? I'm not that kind of guy.
Anna appears at the open window.
Whose voice did I just hear? Was it you, Misha? Why are you stomping around all over the place?
Anyone who had anything to do with your Nicholas would stomp around.
Misha, Please have him carry some hay to the croquet lawn.
Leave me alone, please.
Manners. It's not a good look, Misha. If you
Oh,
want to be liked by women, you shouldn't let them see you when you get angry and obstinate. Nicholas, let's go out and play in the hay.
It's bad for you to stand at the open window, Anna. Uncle, can you shut the window?
The window is shut from inside.
don't forget that the interest on the money you owe Lebediev has to be paid in 2 days.
Look, I haven't forgotten. I'm going over to see him today. Ask him if he will wait.
When are you going?
Now.
Wait. Isn't this Sasha's birthday? It is. The idea of me forgetting that my memory is going. I'll go with you. I will. I'm going, Nicholas, old man. You are the joy of my life. If you weren't always so nervous and cross and gloomy, and you and I could do some great things together, I would do anything for you. Should I marry Martha Babakina and give you half of our fortune? What am I saying? Not half, all. You can take all of it.
Stop! Good God!
Seriously, I'm not gonna marry Martha and split the money with you. So I propose it. You say stop taking nonsense, stop talking nonsense. Good God, you're a good man, and you're smart, but you don't have any red blood in your veins, or any enthusiasm. If you wanted to, you and I could make some deals together that would shame the devil. If you were a normal man instead of a morbid hypochondriac, we could have 1 million in a year. If I had 2,300 rubles now, I could make 20,000 in 2 weeks. You don't believe me. You think it is all stupid nonsense. No, it isn't. Give me 2,300 rubles and let me try. Ovsyanov is selling a strip of land across the river for that price. If we bought it, both of the riverbanks would be ours, and we'd have the right to build a dam across the river, right? We could say that we're going to build a mill, and when the people on the river below us hear that we're not, that we're going to dam the river, they would, of course, object violently, and we'd say, if you don't want a dam here, pay us not to. See the result? The factory would give us 5,000 rubles, Korolkov, 3,000, the monastery 5,000 more, and
all that is so idiotic, Misha. If you don't want me going crazy, please keep your schemes to yourself.
I knew you'd say that. You never act for yourself, and you tie my hands so I can.
Enter Shabelsky and Lvov.
The difference between a lawyer and a doctor is that a lawyer will rob you, but a doctor, he'll rob you and kill you. I'm not talking about anyone present. Frauds and swindlers. You might find an exception to the general rule in Arcadia, but I've treated thousands of sick people myself, but I have never met a doctor who didn't seem to me to be a complete scoundrel.
Yeah, you tie my hands and never do anything yourself, and that is why you have no money.
As I've said before, I'm not referring to anyone here present. There may be exceptions, though, after all.
What do you have to tell me, Doctor?
Exactly what I said this morning. She should go to the Crimea now.
To Crimea? Why don't you and I set ourselves up as doctors, Misha? Then, if some Ophelia finds the world tiresome and begins to cough and be consumptive, then we write out a prescription ordering her a young doctor, and then a trip to Crimea, and there, ooh, some sexy young doctor.
Oh, look, don't be coarse. Look, it takes money to go to the Crimea, and even if I can afford it, you know that she refuses to go.
Yes, she does.
Doctor, is Anna really that ill that she absolutely has to go to Crimea?
Yeah, she has consumption.
Oh, it's really sad. I can tell by looking at her for some time now that she may not last much.
Can you speak quietly, please?
Oh.
She can hear everything you're saying.
Life of a man is like a flower blooming in a field. Then a goat comes along and eats it.
Oh, good God! Everything is a fraud. It's all deception.
Gentlemen, I have been trying to tell Nicholas how he can make some money. And I have shown him a brilliant plan. But my seed, as usual, has fallen on barren ground. Look at him now, dull, cross, bored, peevish, ridiculous.
You've always got some scheme for everyone, hey, telling people how to live. Can you just tell me something? Give me some advice? Now, you're a smart young man. Show me a good move to make.
I'm going to have a swim. Goodbye, gentlemen. There are at least 20 moves you could make. If I were you, I would have 20,000 rubles in a week.
He goes out.
How?
Belsky follows him.
How? Hey, come on, explain it.
There's nothing to explain. It is so simple. Nicholas, give me a ruble.
Ivanov silently hands him the money.
Thank you. Shabelsky, you still hold some trump cards.
Shabelsky following him out.
What are they?
Again.
What are they?
If I were you, I would have 30,000 rubles or more in a week.
They go out together.
Useless people. Useless talk. Useless. And the need to always answer stupid questions. God, I'm so tired, Doctor, that I'm ill. And I've become so irritable, I don't know myself. I have a headache for days at a time. I hear ringing in my ears. I can't sleep. And yet there is no escape from it. Absolutely none.
Ivanov, I want to talk to you about something serious.
What?
It's about your wife. She refuses to go to the Crimea, right? Alone. But she would go with you.
Well, you know how much it would cost for us both to go. And besides, I couldn't get off. To be away for that long? I've already had one holiday this year.
Okay, so let's admit that and proceed. The best cure for consumption is absolute peace of mind, and your wife has none whatever. She's always excited by you, the way you act towards her. Look, forgive me, I'm going to speak frankly. Your treatment of her is killing her. Ivanov, try to make me believe something better about you.
Yes, it's true. I'm guilty. But my mind is, I don't know, I'm confused. I'm paralyzed by a kind of stupor. I can't understand myself or anyone else. Come, let's take a walk. We're going to be overheard here. No, my dear friend, you really need to hear the whole story from the beginning. And if it weren't so long and complicated, I'd tell it. But it would take all night. Sarah is a splendid, an exceptional woman. And she has left her faith, her parents, and her fortune, all for my sake. If I demand 100 other sacrifices, she'd consent to every one without the blink of an eye. Me? I'm not remarkable in any way, and I haven't sacrificed anything. But the story is a long one, and in short, the whole point is, Doctor, that I married her for love and promised to love her forever. And now, after 5 years, she loves me still, and now when you tell me that she is dying, I don't feel love or pity, only a sort of loneliness and weariness. I know this sounds horrible, and I can't understand myself. What is happening to me?
They go out. Shabelsky comes in. He is alone.
That man is not a scoundrel, but great thinker. Mastermind. Oh, he deserves a memorial. He is the essence of modern ingenuity and combines in himself the genius of a lawyer, the doctor, and the financier. And yet, he's never been to college. That is so surprising. What an ideal scoundrel he would make if he'd only acquired a little culture and mastered the sciences. You could make 20,000 rubles a week, he said. You still hold the ace of trumps. It's your title. He said I might get a rich girl to marry me for it.
Anna opens the window and looks down.
Let me make a match between you and Martha, he says. Who's this Martha? It must be that Balabakina or Babakalina woman, the one that looks like a laundress.
Is that you, Count?
What do you want? Why do you laugh?
Oh, I was thinking of something you said at dinner. Do you remember? How was it? A forgotten thief, a doctored horse.
A forgiven thief, a doctored horse, and a converted Jew are all worth the same price.
You can't even repeat the simplest saying without being awful. You're a malicious old man. Seriously, Count, you are extremely disagreeable and very tiresome and terrible to live with. You're always grumbling and moaning, and everybody to you is a scoundrel. Tell me honestly, Count, have you ever spoken well of anyone?
Is this an inquisition?
An owl hoots loudly.
We've lived under the same roof for 5 years now, and I've never heard you speak kindly of someone or go on without bitterness. What harm has the world ever done to you? Is it possible that you consider yourself better than everyone else?
No. I think we're all scoundrels and hypocrites. I know I'm a degraded old man, as useless as a worn-out old shoe. And I'm as bad to myself as I am to anyone else. Yeah, I used to be rich and free, and even happy at times. But now I am a dependent, an object of charity, a joke to the world. When I get fed up and go against any of them, they laugh. When I laugh, they shake their heads and say, "Ooh, the old man's gone crazy."
The owl hoots again.
But most of all, whenever I'm actually trying, I just go unheard and unnoticed by everyone.
There it goes again.
What?
The owl. It screams every evening.
Now, let it scream. Things are as bad as they can be already. My dear Sarah, if only I could win 1,000 or 2 rubles, I'd show you what I could do. I wish you could just see me. I'd get out of this hole. I'd leave all this charity, and I wouldn't show my nose around here again until Judgment Day.
What would you do if you were to win so much money?
First, I'd go to Moscow to hear the Travelers play. And then I'd fly to Paris and take an apartment and go to the Russian church.
And what else?
I'd go sit on my wife's grave for days and days and think. I would sit there until I died. My wife is buried in Paris.
This is so dull. We should play a duet.
Fine. Go get the music.
Anna goes out. Lvov and Ivanov appear in one of the paths.
My dear friend, you left college last year and you're still young and brave. 35 years old, I have the right to give you advice. So here goes. Don't marry a Jewish woman or a single intellectual, or, trust me, a woman who is queer in any way. Pick a nice, commonplace girl without anything strange in her character. Plan your life for quiet. The grayer and more monotonous you can make your surroundings, the better. And, young man, do not try to fight everyone. Don't try to knock down the windmills. Don't dash yourself on the rocks. And above all, I hope to God you will be spared the so-called awakened life. All the wild theories and talk of action. Everything is in the hands of God. So shut yourself up in your shell and just do what you can. This is the pleasant, honest, healthy way to go. The life I chose has been so exhausting, so tiring, so full of mistakes, injustice, and stupidity, Uncle. Uncle, what are you doing? Leave me alone. You never let me have a moment's peace or quiet.
Is there no refuge for anywhere for a poor old devil like me?
He jumps up and runs into the house.
Now I've offended him. Oh, God! My nerves are really shot. I've got to do something about it. I really...
Ivanov, I've heard it all. All you have to say, and I'm going to speak frankly, you have shown me both in your voice and your behavior, as well as in your choice of words, the most heartless egotism and pitiless cruelty. Your nearest friend is dying simply because she is near you. Her days are numbered and you have such indifference that all you can do is go around giving advice and analysing your own feelings. I can't say everything I'd really like to say. I just don't have the gift of words. But, well, I can say that you are deeply antipathetic to me.
I suppose I am. As an onlooker, of course, you see me more clearly than I see myself. And your judgment of me is probably right. No doubt, I am completely guilty. Oh, I think I hear the carriage coming. I have to get ready to go. You dislike me, Doctor, and you don't conceal it. Your sincerity does you credit.
He goes into the house.
He's such a completely disagreeable person. And I've let another opportunity go by without speaking to him as I should. I simply can't talk to him. As soon as I open my mouth to speak, it's like I'm suffocating here, and my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. Oh, I loathe that Tartuffe, that scoundrel, with all my heart. Look, now he's getting ready to go out in spite of what his poor wife wants, who adores him and whose only happiness is his presence. She begs him to spend at least one evening with her, and he can't even do that. Oh, he'd probably shoot himself if he had to stay at home one night. All he wants is someplace new to turn to spoil. I know why you go to Lebedyev's every evening, Ivanov. Oh, I know.
Enter Ivanov in hat and coat, Anna and Shabelsky.
This is too much. You go away every evening and leave us here alone. And we get so bored that we have to go out to bed at 8 o'clock. It's a scandal. And it's not right. Why can you go out if we can't? Huh? Why?
Oh, leave him alone, Count. Let him go if he wants to.
Well, how can a sick woman like you go anywhere? You know you have a cough and you can't go out after sunset. Ask the doctor here. You aren't a child, Annie. Be reasonable. And as for you, what would you do over there?
I'm ready to go anywhere, into the jaws of a crocodile, or even into the jaws of hell, so long as I don't have to stay here. Hey, I am so bored, I'm stupefied. All this dullness, everyone here is tired of me. You leave me at home to entertain Anna, and I just feel like scratching and biting her.
Leave him alone, Count. Leave him alone. Let him go if it makes him happy.
What does that mean, Annie? You know I'm not going because I want to. I have to see Lebediev about the money I owe him.
You don't need to justify yourself to me. Just go. Nobody's keeping you.
Oh, God, let's not bite each other's head off. Do we have to do that now?
Nicholas, please, take me with you. I might possibly be amused a little by the sight of all the fools and scoundrels I see there. You know, I haven't been off this place since Easter.
God, come on then. Just come. All of you are so tiresome.
I can go. Oh, thank you. I want to wear your straw hat.
Fine, just hurry, please.
Shabelsky runs into the house.
God, I'm so tired of you all. But no. Oh, what am I saying? Look, Annie, this isn't right. And I'm wrong. I never used to be this way. All right, well, goodbye, Annie. I'll be back by 1.
Nicholas, please stay home tonight.
Darling, sweetheart, my dear, I beg you. Let me go out at night. I know it's cruel and I'm terrible to ask, but please, let me do you this small injustice. Look, it's nothing but torture for me to stay here. As soon as the sun goes down, my soul is overwhelmed by the most horrible despair. Now, don't ask me why, I don't know. I swear, I don't. I just have this dreadful melancholy. And it torments me and drives me to Lebediev's, and then it grows worse and worse. And then I rush home, but it still pursues me, and so I am tortured all through the night. Look, it's really breaking my heart, honey.
Nicholas, won't you stay? We'll talk like we used to. We'll have supper and then read something after. The old grumbler and I have learned so many duets we can play for you. I really can't understand you anymore, Nicholas. This has been going on for over a year now. What's changed you so?
I don't know.
And why don't you want me to go out with you in the evenings?
You really want to know? Fine. It's a little cruel, but maybe it's better if you do understand. When I have this melancholy on me, I begin to dislike you, Annie. And at such times, I have to escape from you. In short, I simply have to leave this house.
Oh, Nicholas, you're sad, aren't you? I can understand that. Nicholas, let me ask you something. Can you at least try to sing and laugh and scold the way you used to? How about this? Stay here and we can drink some liqueur together and laugh and chase away this sadness of yours, and in no time, things will be better. How about if I sing to you? Or we can sit in your study in the twilight like we used to while you tell me about your sadness. I see such suffering in your eyes. Let me look into them and weep, and our hearts will both be lighter. Or is it really true that the flowers return with every spring, but lost happiness never returns? Okay, go. Just go.
Pray for me, Annie.
Ivanov goes out.
No, I can't do it.
Yes, go.
Please remember, as soon as the sun goes down, you really need to go indoors and not come out again until morning. The damp evening air is bad for you.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by yes, sir? I'm speaking seriously.
But I don't want to be serious.
Oh, see, you hear me? You're coughing already.
Shabelsky comes out of the house in his hat and coat.
Where's Nicholas? Is he in the carriage already? Good night, my daughter. I beg your pardon.
He
Idiot.
goes out quickly.
Sorry, idiot.
The sounds of a concertina are heard in the distance.
Oh, how lonely it is. The coachman and the cook are having a little ball in there by themselves, and I am, as it were, abandoned. Why are you walking about, Doctor? Come and sit down here with me.
I can't sit down.
They're playing the sparrow. Sparrow, sparrow, where are you? On the mountain drinking dew. Are your mom and dad still alive, Doctor?
Sorry, my mother's living, my father's dead.
Do you miss her?
I'm too busy to miss anyone.
The flowers return every spring, but lost happiness never returns. I wonder who taught me that. I think it was Nicholas himself. Listen, the owl is hooting again.
Oh, let it hoot.
I'm beginning to think, Doctor, that fate has cheated me. Other people who are no better off than I am are happy, and they haven't had to pay for their happiness. Why should I have to pay so much? You're all too considerate and gentle with me to tell me the truth. But do you think I don't know what's the matter with me? I know perfectly well. But anyway, this isn't a pleasant subject. If you will, I hope you will excuse me. You know any funny stories?
No, sorry, I don't.
Nicholas does. I am beginning to be surprised by the injustice of people. Why do they return hatred for love and answer truth with lies? Can you tell me how much longer I'll be hated by my mother and father? They live 50 miles away, and yet I can feel their hatred day and night, even in my sleep. And how do you account for the sadness of Nicholas? He says that he only dislikes me in the evening when the melancholy is on him. I can understand that. I can tolerate it. But what if he starts to dislike me all the time? Of course, that's impossible. And yet, no, I mustn't imagine such a thing. Sparrow, sparrow, where are you? What a lot of terrible thoughts I have. You are not married, Doctor. There's a lot you can't understand.
You say you're surprised, but actually it's you who surprises me. Tell me, explain to me how you, a good and intelligent woman, almost a saint, could allow yourself to be so basely deceived and dragged into this den of bears. Why are you here? What have you in common with such cold and heartless? Sorry. Enough about your husband. Look, what do you have in common with these wicked and vulgar surroundings, with that eternal whiner, the crazy and decrepit old count, or with that swindler, that prince of good-for-nothings, Misha, with his fool's face? Tell me honestly, how did you get here?
That is what he used to say a long time ago. Exactly. Only his eyes are larger than yours. And when he got worked up, they used to shine like coals. Go on.
I'm sorry, I can't. There's nothing more to say. Look, please, just go inside.
Oh, you say that Nicholas is not what he should be, that his faults are this and thus, but how could you possibly understand him? How could you know anyone in 6 months? He is really a wonderful man. I'm sorry you couldn't have known him as he was 2 or 3 years ago. He's depressed and silent now, I know. And yes, he broods all day and doesn't do anything, but you know something? He was wonderful back then. I fell in love with him at first sight.
The owl hoots.
I gave him one look and I was like a mouse in a trap. So when he asked me to go with him, I cut every tie that bound me to my old life. You know, the way you snip the old withered leaves from a plant. And yes, things are different now. He goes to the Lebedyevs to amuse himself with other women, and I sit here in the garden and I listen to the owls. Tell me, Doctor, do you have any brothers and sisters?
No. What's the matter?
I can't stand it, Doctor. I have to go.
Where?
To him. I'm going. Will you please have the horses harnessed?
She runs into the house.
No, enough. I can't treat anyone under these conditions. At first, I have to do it for nothing, and I'm forced to endure this mental agony as well. No, I can't. I have had enough.
He goes into the house. The curtain falls. 2. The drawing room of the Lebedyevs' house. In the center is a door leading to a garden. Doors open out of the room to the right and to the left. The room is furnished with valuable old furniture, which is carefully protected by linen covers. The walls are hung with pictures. The room is lighted by a candelabra. Zenaida is sitting on the sofa. The elderly guests are in armchairs on either hand. The young guests are sitting about the room on small chairs. Kosic, Avdotia Nazarovna, George, and others are playing cards in the background. Gabriel is standing near the door to the right. The maid is passing sweetmeats about on a tray. During the entire act, guests come and go from the garden through the room, out of the door, to the left, to the right, and back again. Nope, I'm sorry, only to the left, and then back again, sorry. During the entire act, guests come and go from the garden, through the room, out the door, on the left, and back again. Oh, enter Martha, through the door on the right. She goes towards Zenaida.
Sir, my dear.
Well, how are you, Zenaida? I want to congratulate you on your daughter's birthday.
Oh, thank you. I'm really glad to see you. How are you doing?
Well, I'm well, thank you. Hello there, young people.
The younger guests get up and bow.
People. What are you, an old person?
Well, I can't really make any pretense to youth now, can I?
Nonsense. Look, just because you're a widow, you can dance the pants off any pretty girl you choose.
Gabriel brings Martha some tea.
Bringing the tea in like that. Go and get some bread and jam to eat with it.
No, thank you. Not for me. Please don't trouble yourself.
Did you go through Mushkin on your way here?
No, I came through Spask. The road's better that way.
Definitely. Two spades.
Pass.
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 Did you see that the price of lottery tickets has gone up again? I've never seen anything like this. It's already worth 270 and the second pick is almost 250. Never seen this before.
Lucky for someone who has a lot of tickets.
No, it's not worth it. Never is.
No, it's quite true. And yet someone's going to win. It could be you.
My impression is, ladies, that it's a fairly unproductive waste of capital. When you consider the cost, the shares pay various dividends, and speculating is always a risk. As I understand it, the capitalist now finds himself in a more critical position than the man who was the...
Quite right. How can you sit there and yawn in the presence of ladies?
I beg your pardon, it was an accident.
Zenaida gets up and goes out through the door on the right.
2 in hearts.
Pass. Pass.
This is deadly. I'm going to die of ennui.
Oh, enter Zenaida and Lebedev through the door on the right.
You're going off by yourself like some prima donna. Come here and sit with our guests.
Oh dear, our sins are heavy. Aye, there's my little sugar plum. How's our most esteemed highness?
Very well, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Quite right. Ugh. No. Gabriel.
Gabriel brings him a glass of vodka and a tumbler of water.
Good health to you.
Ah, good health. It's too much to ask. I'm fine with just keeping death in the door. Where's our heroine Zuzu?
Why haven't we taken any tricks yet? Yes, why have we lost this game entirely? God dang it!
Because you don't know how to play and shouldn't be sitting here. What right did you have to lead from another suit? Don't you have the ace left?
They both leave the table and run forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain. I had the ace, king, queen, and 8 of diamonds. The ace of spades and just one little hearts. You understand? She, little Miss Bad Luck, couldn't even make a little slam. I said one in no trumps.
No,
And then
no. I said one in no trumps. You said two in no trumps.
this is unbelievable. Allow me. You had, you had, but you shall decide it, Paul. I had the ace, king, queen, and 8 of diamonds. And I also wanted to stop by and
No, stop! For God's sake,
I
stop!
said no trumps, not he.
I'll be damned if I'm ever going to sit down to another game of cards with that old cat.
He rushes into the garden. The second guest follows him. George is left alone at the table.
Man, he makes my blood boil, old cat. You're an old cat.
No, you're really angry, Auntie.
Are you here, my darling? My beauty. Was I blind as a bat and didn't see you? Darling child, this makes me so happy. Let me feast my eyes on you, my little swan. Oh, oh, you're such a sight for these soiled eyes.
Why don't you find her a husband instead of singing her praises?
There he'll be found. I won't go to my grave before I've found a husband for her. And one for Sasha, too. I won't go to my grave. But where to find these husbands nowadays? There are some possible bridegrooms right over there, huddled together like a little half-drowned rat.
Not a good comparison.
Oh.
It's my belief, ladies, that if the young men of our day prefer to remain single, the fault lies not with them, but with the existing social conditions.
Come. Enough of that. Don't give us any more doom and gloom. I don't like it.
Enter Sasha. She goes up to her father. Oh, how can you stand the stuffy air in this room when it's so beautiful outside?
Sasha, don't you see that Martha's here?
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Yes, here I am, my dear little Sasha, and proud to wish you a happy birthday. Many more, many, many more.
Thank you.
As you were saying, husbands are hard to find. I don't want to be rude, but I must say that the young men of the present are just a lot of dull and dour whiners. They can't dance or talk or even drink as they're supposed to.
Oh, I don't know. As far as drinking goes, they're all experts. Just give them.
No, it's simply not enough. Simply to drink is no art. A horse can drink. That must be done the right way. In my day, we used to sit and beat our brains all day over lessons, and as soon as evening came, we would fly off to some spot and keep it going till dawn. How we used to dance and flirt and drink, too. Sometimes we would sit and chatter and discuss everything under the sun until we almost talked our tongues off. But now, young men are a puzzle to me. They're not willing to either give a candle to God or a pitchfork to the devil. There's only one young fellow in the country who's worth a penny, and he's married. They also say he's going crazy.
Oh.
Nicholas Ivanov.
Oh, yeah, he's something. Only he's very unhappy.
How could he be otherwise, poor boy? Oh, he made such a bad mistake. When he married that Jewish girl because he thought her parents would give away a mountain of gold with her. But on the contrary, on the day she became a Christian, they disowned her. And Ivanov has never seen a penny. He's repented that folly, but now it's too late.
Mother, that is not true.
Well, how can you say it's not true, Sasha, when we all know it to be a fact? Why did he have to marry her? He must have had some reason for doing it. Are all Christian girls so scarce? No, he made a mistake, and a sad mistake. What on earth can he do with her now? Where can she go if he were to come home one day and say, "Your parents deceived me, leave my house"? No, her parents would not take her back. She might find a place as a housemaid if she had any experience, which she hasn't. He worries and worries her now, but the Count interferes. If it hadn't been for the Count, he would have worried her to death a year ago.
They say he shuts her up in his cellar and stuffs her with garlic. She eats and eats and eats until her very soul reeks of it.
You know that isn't true.
I want to believe it, Sasha. Let them spin yarns if it amuses them. Yeah. Say, Gabriel.
His bad luck has almost ruined him, poor guy. His life is in a terrible condition. If Borkin didn't take such good charge of things, he and his missus would soon be starving to death. And what a lot of anxiety he's caused us. Heaven only knows we've suffered a lot. Do you realize that for 3 years he has owed us 9,000 rubles?
9,000.
Yes. And that's the sum that my dear Paul lent him. He never knows who is safe to lend money and who is not. I don't worry about the principal, but he ought at least to pay the interest.
Ah, you've discussed this 1,000 times.
So what? Why do you want to interfere?
What is this nuttiness that you all have for gossiping about a man who has never done any of you any harm? Now, be honest. What harm has he done to any of you?
Let me say 2 words, Miss Sasha. I esteem Ivanov and have always found him an honorable man, but between ourselves, I also consider him an adventurer.
Okay. I congratulate you on your opinion, I guess.
To make the point, allow me to present you with the following facts, as they were communicated to me by his secretary, or should I say rather, by his factotum Borkin. 2 years ago, at the time of the cattle plague, he bought me some cattle and had them insured.
Well, I remember.
He had them insured and then inoculated them with a disease and claimed the insurance.
Yes.
Nonsense. 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 No one bought or inoculated any cattle. That story was invented by Borkin, who then went about boasting of his clever plan. Ivanov would not forgive Borkin for 2 weeks after he heard about it. He is only guilty of a weak character and too great a faith in humanity. He can't make up his mind and get rid of Borkin, and so all of his possessions have been stolen from him. Everyone who has ever had anything to do with Ivanov has taken advantage of that poor man just to get rich.
Oh, Sasha, that will do.
But why do you all talk like this? This eternal subject of Ivanov, and always Ivanov has grown so crazy, and yet you never speak of anything else. I am surprised and utterly astonished at your patience. And how can you sit there like that? But aren't you guys bored? With the very air is as dull as ditch water. For heaven's sake, say something. Try to amuse the ladies a little, huh? Move about. Or if you can't talk of anything except Ivanov, try laughing or singing or dancing or...
Right, Sasha, just give it to them.
Look here. Will you do me a favor? If you refuse to sing or dance or laugh, if all of that is so tedious, then let me beg you, implore you to summon all of your powers, if only for this once, and try to make one witty or clever remark. Let it be as impertinent as malicious as you like, just so long as it is funny and original. Please try to perform this miracle just once to surprise me and make us all laugh. Or else maybe you could try and think of some little tiny thing that you could all do together, huh? Something to make you get up and move about. Let the girls admire you for once, huh? Trust me, I'm thinking you want them to like you, right? Then try a little. Oh, dear. Oh, there is something definitely wrong with all of you. You are such a lot of sleepy little stick in the muds. No, I have told you that 1,000 times, and I will keep on repeating it because there is something wrong with every one of you. Something wrong, wrong, wrong. Enter Ivanov and Shabelsky.
Who's making a speech? Eh? Is it you, Sasha? Happy birthday, my dear. May you live as long as possible in this life, but never be born again.
Dear Count.
Who can this be? Not you, Count?
Ah,
Pineda
two,
and Martha are sitting side by side.
two absolute gold mines sitting here, side by side. What a pleasant picture it makes, huh? Hey, good evening, Zuzu. Good evening, Birdie.
Oh, I'm charmed to see you, Count. You are a rare visitor here now. Gabriel, tea. Please, everyone, sit down.
She gets up and goes to the door and back, eventually much preoccupied. Sasha sits down in her former place. Ivanov silently shakes hands with everyone.
And what miracles brought you here? This is a great surprise, Count. You're nothing but a rascal. You haven't been treating us right at all. Tell me, why don't you ever come to see us now? Have we offended you?
How can I get here to see you, huh? Astride a broomstick?
Huh.
I don't have any horses of my own, and Nicholas won't take me with him when he goes out. He says I have to stay at home to amuse Sarah. Send your horses for me, and I will come with pleasure.
Oh, yeah, it's easy to say, but Zuzu would rather die than lend her horses to anyone. My dear old friend, you are more to me than anyone I know. You and I are survivors of those good old days, and that are gone forever. And you alone bring back to my mind the love and longings of my youth. Of course, I'm only joking, and yet, to be honest, I'm almost crying here.
Oh, stop. You smell like the air of a wine cellar.
Oh, you can't imagine how lonely I am without my old companions. I could hang myself. Zuzu scared off all the decent men with their stingy ways, and now we only have this riffraff you see here. Tom, Dick, and Harry's. Whatever. Drink your tea.
Gabriel, don't bring it in like that. Go and fetch some bread and jam to eat with it.
Didn't I tell you? I bet him driving over that as soon as we got here, Zuzu would try to feed us jam.
Oh, still joking, Count.
You made 20 jars of it this year. How else do you expect her to get rid of it?
Are you still adding to the hoard, Zuzu? You'll soon be a millionaire, I bet.
I know it seems like no one could be richer than we are, but where do they imagine that kind of money comes from? It's all gossip.
Oh, yes. We all know that. We all know how badly you play your cards. Hey, tell me, Paul, honestly, have you saved up $1 million yet?
I don't know. Ask Zuzu.
And my plump little birdie here will soon have $1 million too. You know, she's getting prettier and plumper not only every day, but every hour. That means she has a nice little fortune.
Thank you very much, Your Highness, but I don't like those jokes.
Oh, my dear little gold mine. You call that a joke? It was a wail of the soul, a cry from the heart that burst through my lips. My love for you and Zuzu is immense. Oh, rapture. Oh, bliss. I cannot look at you two without my heart going crazy.
Oh, you're still the same, Count. Put out the candles, please, George. How is your wife, Nicholas?
Very ill. The doctor said today that she has consumption.
Oh, really? Oh, how sad. And we're all so fond of her.
What trash you talk. That story was invented by that sham doctor and is nothing but a trick of his. He wants to masquerade as an Asclepius. And so has started his consumption theory. Fortunately, her husband isn't jealous. As for Sarah, I wouldn't trust a word or an action of hers. I have made a point all my life not trusting doctors, lawyers, or women. Lies and deception.
You are an extraordinary person, Matthew. you've mounted this misogynistic and misanthropic hobby of yours. You ride it through thick and thin like a lunatic. You know, you're a man like the rest of us, and yet the way you talk, one would imagine you've had a horse kick you in the head.
Oh, you want me to start kissing every scoundrel I meet?
Ah, where do you find all these scoundrels?
I'm not talking of anyone here present. Nevertheless.
Oh, there you go again with your nevertheless. All this is just a fancy of yours.
A fancy? Lucky for you, you don't know anything about the real world.
My knowledge of the real world is this. I sit here prepared every moment to have death come walking through that door. That's my knowledge of the real world. At our age, brother, you and I can't afford to go about worrying about your knowledge of the real world. So then, yeah, Gabriel!
You've had enough already. Hey, look at your nose.
What? It doesn't matter. Oh boy, I'm not getting married today.
Dr. Lvov hasn't been here for a long time. He's forgotten about us.
That man is one of my aversions. I can't stand his icy sense of honor. He can't ask for a glass of water or smoke a cigarette without making a display of his remarkable honesty. Walking and talking, it's written on his brow. I'm an honest man. God, he's such a bore.
He's a narrow-minded, conceited medico. He shrieks like a parrot at every step. Oh, make way for honest endeavor, and thinks he's St. Francis. Everybody is a rascal who doesn't make as much noise as he does. As for his penetration, it's unbelievable. If a peasant is well off and lives decently, he imagines that he's got to be a thief or a scoundrel. If I wear a velvet coat and am dressed by my valet, I'm a rascal and the valet is my slave. There's no place in this world for a man like him. I am actually afraid of him. He will, out of duty, insult a man at any moment and to call him a knave.
I'm so tired of him. But I can't help liking him too. He is sincere.
Oh, yes, his sincerity is beautiful. He came up to me the other evening and remarked, absolutely apropos of nothing, Count, I have a deep aversion to you. And it's not as if he just said things like that. It's that they are extremely pointed. His voice trembles, his eyes flash, his veins swell. To hell with his infernal honesty. Suppose I am disgusting and odious to him. What is more natural? I know I am, but I don't like to be told that to my face. I am a worthless old man. But he might have the decency to show some respect. I hate that kind of stupid, heartless honesty.
Now, come on. No, you were young yourself once. So you should make some allowances for him.
Yeah. I've been young and reckless. I played the fool in my day and have been plenty of knaves and scamps. But I have never called a thief to his face, or talked of ropes in the house of a man who has hanged. I knew how to behave. But this idiotic doctor of yours, he'd think himself in seventh heaven if fate allowed him to pull my nose in public in the name of morality and human ideals.
Young men are all stubborn and aching for a fight. I had an uncle once who he thought he was a philosopher, and he would invite over a bunch of guests, and then after he had a drink, he would get up on a chair like this here and go, "You ignoramuses, you unread wonders of ineptitude. This is the dawn of a new life." You know, so on and so on. How he would preach and preach.
And the guests?
No, they would just sit there and listen and go on drinking. Once, though, I challenged him to a duel. My own uncle. It started with the discussion about Sir Francis Bacon. I was sitting, I remember, right where Matthew is, and my uncle, and the late Gershom Nilich was sitting, but he's over there, about where Nicholas is now. Well, Gershom propounded this question.
Enter Borkin. He is dressed like a dandy and carries a parcel under his arm. He comes in singing and skipping through the door on the right. A murmur of approval is heard.
Michael Borkin.
Monica!
Ah, the soul of the company.
Here we are, my noble, most noble, indeed, as bold, so bold as to wish to the whole world many happy returns of the birthday of such an exquisite flower as you. As a token of my enthusiasm, let me presume to present you with these fireworks and this Bengal fire of my own manufacture. May they illuminate the night as brightly as you illuminate the shadows of this dark world.
Thank you.
When you send the Judas packing.
My compliments to you, sir. How are you, my patron? Nicholas, voila, hey ho hey. Most highly honored Zenaida, oh glorious Martha, most ancient Avdotia, noblest of counts.
Ah, the life of the company. You know, the moment he comes in, the air feels livelier. Have you noticed that?
Oh, I am pooped. I believe I have shaken hands with everybody. Well, ladies and gentlemen, haven't you some little tidbit to tell me, something spicy? Oh, Auntie, I have something to tell you. As I was on my way here, some tea, please, Gabriel, but please no jam. As I was on my way here, I saw some peasants down on the riverbank pulling the bark off the trees. Why don't you lease that meadow?
Why don't you send this Judas away?
I never thought of it.
Can't sit still. What tricks shall we be up to next, Auntie? I'm all on edge. Martha, absolutely exalted. Once more, I stand before thee.
Oh, think of something to amuse us, Misha. We're all so bored.
You look like it. What's the matter with everyone? Why are you sitting there as solemn as a jury? Come on, let's play something. What shall it be? Forfeits, hide and seek, tag, shall we dance? Or do you want to have the fireworks now?
Oh, the fireworks.
Fireworks.
They all run into the garden. Why are you so depressed today?
My head hurts, Sasha, and I feel bored.
Come on, come into the sitting room with me. They go out the door on the left. All the guests go into the garden, and Zenaida and Lebedev are left alone.
Is what I like to see. A young man like Misha comes into the room and in a minute he has everybody laughing. There's no reason the candle should burn for nothing so long as they are all in the garden.
She blows out the candles.
Why, we should really give our guests something to eat, Zuzu.
Now, there's a lot of candles. No wonder everyone thinks that we're rich.
Now, give them something to eat, Zuzu. They must be hungry now, poor thing. Zuzu?
The Count didn't finish his tea, and all that sugar has been wasted.
She goes out through the door on the left.
Ah,
Goes out into the garden. The stage is empty. Enter Ivanov and Sasha through the door on the right.
well, this is how it is, Sasha. I used to work hard and think hard and never get tired. And now I don't do anything or think anything, and I'm always tired, body and soul. And I feel that I am completely to blame. My conscience bothers me day and night, and I can't exactly see what my mistakes are. And now comes my wife's illness, our poverty, and this eternal backbiting, gossiping, chattering, and that idiot Borkin. My home has become unbearable to me. Living there is worse than torture. Honestly, Sasha, my wife, who loves me, has become unbearable. You are an old friend, little Sasha, so don't be angry with me for saying all this. I came to you to be cheered up, but I have to admit that I am bored here too. Something makes me want to go home now. Forgive me, I'm just going to slip out.
I understand, Nicholas. You're unhappy because you're lonely. You need someone at your side whom you can love. Someone who understands you.
Sasha, please. Imagine a crusty old fart like myself starting a love affair. Oh, God preserve me from that nightmare. No, please, my Dulce, this is not a case for needing romance. No, the fact is that I can endure all I have to suffer, the sadness, sickness of mind, ruin, the loss of my wife, and my lonely, broken old age. But I cannot, I will not endure the contempt I have for myself. I nearly die of shame when I consider what a strong, healthy man like myself has become. Oh, God only knows what, and by no means do I consider myself a Hamlet. But there are some unfortunates who feel flattered when people call them Hamlets and cynics, but to me, it is an insult. It hurts my pride, and I'm embarrassed and feel shame, and I suffer agony. Oh, God.
Nicholas, let's run away to America together.
No, I don't have the energy to take such a step forward. I certainly don't have the stuff for that kind of venture. And besides, in America, as a matter of fact, Sasha, this is not a good place for you. And when I look at the men around you, and I'm terrified for you, who could you marry? The only chance will be if some passing lieutenant or student steals your heart and takes you away from here.
Enter Zenaida through the door on the right with a jar of jam.
Excuse me, Sasha. I shall join you in a minute.
Sasha goes out into the garden.
Zenaida, may I ask you a favor?
What is it?
You know that the interest on my note is due the day after tomorrow. I would be more than obliged if you could let me postpone the payment of it, or would let me add the interest to the capital. I simply can't pay it now. I don't have the money.
Oh, Ivanov, how could I do such a thing? Would that be at all businesslike? No, please, don't ask that. Don't torment an unfortunate old woman.
I beg your pardon.
He goes out into the garden.
Oh dear, what a fright. I'm trembling all over.
Goes out through the door on the right. Enter Kosich on the door, through the door on the left. He walks across an empty stage.
I had the ace, king, queen, and 8 of diamonds, the ace of spades, and just one little heart, and she made the devil fly up through the floor and take her away. She couldn't make a little slam.
Goes out through the door on the right. Enter from the garden of Docia and the first guest.
Oh, how I'd like to get my claws into her. Miserable old miser. How I'd like it. Does she think it's a joke to leave us sitting here since 5 o'clock without even offering us a crust to eat? What a house!
I'm so bored. I
Oh.
feel like beating my head against the wall.
Yes.
Lord, what a lot of queer people. I'm about to be howling like a wolf and snapping at them from hunger and exhaustion.
I'd just like to get my claws into her, the old bag.
I'm going to get a drink, old lady, and then head home. I don't want anything to do with these bells of yours. How the devil can a man think of love who hasn't had a drop to drink since dinner?
We'll go and find something.
Shh, softly. I think the brandy is in the sideboard in the dining room. We'll find it. Shh.
They go out through the door on the left. Enter Anna and Lvov through the door on the right.
No, they'll be glad to see us. What? There's no one here. They must be in the garden.
I want to know why you've brought me into this den of wolves. There's no place for you and me. Honourable people should not be subjected to such influences as these.
Listen to me, Mr. Honourable Man. When you are escorting a lady, it's very bad manners to talk to her the whole way about nothing but your own honesty. That kind of behavior may be perfectly honest, but it's also tedious to say the least. Never tell a woman how good you are. Let her find it out for herself. My Nicholas used to sing and tell stories when he was young like you, and yet every woman knew at once what kind of man he was.
Oh, don't talk to me about Nicholas. I know all about him.
You're a very worthy man, Doctor, but you don't know anything at all. Come into the garden. He never said, I am an honest man, these surroundings are too narrow for me. He never spoke of wolves' dens, called people bears or vultures. He left the animal kingdom alone. And the most I ever heard him say when he was worked up was, oh, how unjust I have been today, or Annie, I am sorry for that man. That's all he'd say. But you
Anna
you
and
just
Lvov
got
go out. Enter Avdotya and the first guest through the door on the left.
There isn't any in the dining room, so it has to be someplace in the pantry. We have to find George. Come on, this way, through the sitting room.
I love to get my claws into her.
They go out through the door on the right. Martha and Borkin run in, laughing from the garden. Shabelsky comes in, mincing behind them, laughing and rubbing his hands.
Oh, I am so bored. This is deadly. Everyone looks like he swallowed a fire poker. I'm frozen to the bone by this icy dullness. Let's do something.
Borkin catches her by the waist and kisses her on the cheek.
Well, I'll be hanged. Really, you know.
Let go, you wretch. What will the Count think? Stop it, I'm not kidding.
Angel Jew will lend me 2,300 rubles.
Most certainly not. Do what you please, but I'll thank you to leave my money alone. No, no, no. Oh, please, will you let go?
The little birdie has its charms. Come, that will do.
Let us come to the point and consider my proposition frankly as a business arrangement. Answer me honestly without any tricks or equivocations. Do you agree to do it or not? Listen to me. He needs money, at least 3,000 a year. You need a husband. Do you want to be a countess?
Oh, the cynic.
You want to be a countess or not?
Hey, wait a minute. Really, Misha, these things aren't done in a second like this. If the Count wants to marry me, let me ask him, let him ask me himself. And I don't understand. This is all so sudden.
Oh, don't beat around the bush. This is a business arrangement. Do you agree or not?
Supposing I do marry her, eh? Dang it. Why shouldn't I? What do you say, little Puss in Boots, my little cheeky beaky?
Stop it. Stop. Well, I don't even know what I'm doing. So get away. Oh, no, wait. Don't go.
Answer me this. Is it yes or is it no? We can't stand here all night.
Look here, Count. Come and visit me for 3 or 4 days. It's fun at my house, not like this place. Come tomorrow. Or wait, is this all a joke?
Could I joke on such a serious subject?
Wait, stop. Oh, I feel faint. A countess? I'm fainting. I'm falling.
Borkin and Shabelsky catch her by the arms. They kiss her cheeks and lead her out through the door on the right. Ivanov and Sasha run in from the garden.
It can't be true. Don't, Sasha, don't. I implore you, don't.
I love you madly. Without you, my life can have no meaning, no happiness, no hope.
Why? Why would you say that? What do you mean? Oh, little Sasha, please. Just don't say it.
We're the only joy of my childhood. I have loved you body and soul, and then as myself. But now, oh, I love you, Nicholas. Take me with you to the ends of the earth, wherever you wish. But please, for heaven's sake, let's go at once, or I really am going to die. Please.
What is this, Evan? Is this the beginning of a new life for me? Is it, Sasha? Oh, my happiness, my joy, my freshness, my youth.
Enter Anna from the garden.
Oh, then I shall live once more and work.
Ivanov and Sasha kiss each other. After the kiss, they look around and see Anna.
Sarah.
The curtain falls.